We didn't suffer. I know how them kids suffer. And people don't understand that I was on death row, finna get a needle in my arm.
Boosie Badazz has been through hell and back with the system, and the pressure shows no signs of letting up. The Baton Rouge icon has spent more than his fair share behind bars, and past footage from jail showed him looking completely worn down. But now he's back in the thick of it, facing off against the feds while waiting to find out his fate. A lot of fans are convinced the system's got out for him, and honestly, it's hard to argue otherwise. Prosecutors keep piling on new charges, even though he's already done time. So today, we're taking from the block to the bench and breaking down how it all went left. When the headlines hit that Boosie, one of the rawest voices to ever spit about real-life struggle, copped a federal plea that might send him upstate for 2 years, it shook the hood to its core. It all started like just another grind mission. On May 6, 2023, he was in San Diego filming a music video and prepping to hit the stage at the Phantom Lounge in the Gaslamp Quarter. Just another day in the hustle, making sure the bills got paid and his 9 kids stayed fed. But while he was focused on the music, both the streets and the law were locked in. That same day, San Diego cops zeroed in on an Instagram Live posted by a known neighborhood affiliate. In the background, Boosie, and he had a black handgun tucked in his waistband during the shoot. Just like that, a regular day turned into front-page chaos. What happened next felt like something out of a Hollywood script. A helicopter started circling overhead, tracking the black Mercedes SUV Boosie was riding in. Then, boom, they pulled him over, claiming he ran a red light. But this wasn't your average traffic stop. This was a full-scale operation. When they searched the vehicle, things got wild. Police claimed they found not 1, but 2 loaded handguns, a Glock and an FN Hurd-style Hellcat. Boosie tried to hold it down, saying one of the straps belonged to his security. But prosecutors weren't buying it. Then the feds came through with a plot twist. They alleged Boosie had bought both weapons in Georgia and caught a Delta flight that same day to San Diego with the guns in his luggage. That's when they hit him with the magic word, interstate commerce. And just like that, the case turned federal. At first, it seemed like this might stay local. The San Diego DA hit him with charges for gun possession as a prohibited person, carrying a concealed weapon in a vehicle, ammo charges, and having an unregistered firearm. His legal team sounded confident. They told people he might just walk away with probation and no jail time. But everything flipped on June 14th, 2023. The state dropped all the charges, and Boosie probably thought he was in the clear. But the second he stepped outside the courthouse, federal agents were waiting. They moved in fast and arrested him again, this time on a federal felon in possession charge. Boosie's legal team didn't waste a beat. They came out swinging from the jump. His attorney, Megan Blanco, called the feds out for violating their own petite policy.
State case was dropped, and out of nowhere, the feds picked it up.
Now, it was a state case.
A rule that's supposed to prevent prosecutors from going after someone twice for the same crime. Another lawyer on the squad, Damon E.T., backed her up, saying Boosie's bold presence on social media, always speaking out against the system, basically painted a bullseye on his back. The whole case leaned heavily on Boosie's past. Way back in 2011, he caught a marijuana charge, and that one conviction slapped him with a federal label as a prohibited person, meaning by law, he couldn't legally touch a gun. Now, that old weed case, nonviolent from over 10 years ago, was being flipped into the reason he could face up to 15 years in prison. Think about that. A decade-old smoke charge, now threatening to snatch his freedom all over again. The judge initially set bond at $100,000, but this wasn't some regular county situation. This was federal court, where the pressure's heavier and the consequences run deeper. Then came a major curveball in July 2024 that changed everything. U.S. District Judge Cathy and Bencho dropped a federal weapons charge, citing a game-changing Ninth Circuit ruling, U.S. versus Duarte. That case declared it unconstitutional to ban nonviolent felons from owning firearms, calling it a violation of the Second Amendment. And just like that, Boosie got the lifeline he'd been praying for. The celebration outside the courthouse was electric, raw.
I had a ruling in the Supreme Court that went in my favor, and the case got dropped by the judge.
Unfiltered energy all around. Boosie stood in front of the cameras, voice cracking as he told reporters, 90% of people thought I was headed to prison, but God had other plans. That moment hit deep. You could feel the weight lift off his shoulders, and the whole world felt it with him. He didn't waste a second living in that freedom, either. Boosie ripped off his ankle monitor, jumped straight into a pool at the Sichuan Casino Resort in San Diego, and let it be known he was back outside. Fans celebrated like it was a movie ending. But the good vibes didn't last. Not even 2 weeks later, U.S. Attorney Tara McGrath's office hit back hard, re-indicting Boosie on 2 brand new charges: being a felon in possession of a firearm across state lines, and having a gun while using controlled substances. Then came the twist that shattered the celebration. The Ninth Circuit reversed its earlier ruling and overturned the Duarte decision, the same one that had saved Boosie just weeks before. That meant the federal ban on felons owning firearms was back in full effect. And just like that, Boosie's brief moment of freedom came crashing down. The new indictment wasn't just serious, it was stacked. Prosecutors added a gun charge tied to drug use, carrying up to 10 years, and the original felon in possession count with a 15-year max. That's 25 years hanging over his head. Boosie went straight to social media, calling the move straight-up prosecutorial overreach, and labeled it exactly what he felt it was: racism.
Principle mean like you had something to do.
He made it clear he wasn't about to stay quiet while the system tried to wipe him out. The message from the government couldn't be louder. When they want you, they'll pull every string, bend every rule, and drain every resource just to lock you down. From watching Instagram lives to helicopters in the sky, they'll dig into every legal loophole to bury you. To really understand why Boosie finally copped a plea in 2025, you gotta rewind the clock and see the long war he's fought with the justice system. This was his first ride through the fire. Growing up on West Garfield Street in Baton Rouge, Boosie had it rough from day one. He was expelled from McKinley High over drug-related issues, and he was in the streets early, catching charges before he was even old enough to buy a drink. By 2009, the law hit him with 4 years for gun and drug charges. But things only spiraled darker. In 2010, while already locked up, prosecutors hit him with a bombshell, indicting him for the 2009 murder of Terry Boyd. They claimed Boosie ordered the hit, paying 17-year-old Michael Marlowe Mike, lauding $2,800 to carry it out. The accusation sent shockwaves through the rap world. From the start, the murder case was shaky. Louding first named Boosie as the mastermind, but later backtracked, saying police threatened him with a death penalty to make him talk. That alone cast a heavy cloud of doubt. Then prosecutors took a step further, trying to use Boosie's own lyrics from tracks like 187 and Body Bag as supposed proof of intent. That move sparked outrage, blurring the line between artistic expression and criminal evidence. A dangerous road for every rapper in the game. But the jury wasn't buying it. After just 35 minutes, they came back with a not guilty verdict. Boosie later said, "It was one of the best days of my life. I got found guilty in 36 minutes. Not guilty in 36 minutes. But beating the murder rap didn't equal freedom. Still locked down in Angola prison, Boosie got hit with new charges, accused of running a drug ring behind bars, which stretched his sentence even further. He wouldn't see the outside world until March 2014. Those years on lockdown, staring at death row, left scars that don't show. Mentally, it took a toll. Financially, it nearly wiped him out, and it shaped how Boosie approached every legal battle afterward. So when the feds came knocking again in 2023, Boosie already knew this fight could be life-altering. By August 2025, after years of motions, dismissals, re-indictments, and new charges piling up, the pressure finally cracked through. He took to X and posted, "Just accepted a plea from the federal government on my gun case. Thought it was over and I could move on, but God, don't make mistakes. I'm tired of fighting. Talk to my family, this is the right call." The exhaustion in his words hit hard. His family, especially his mother, had a huge influence on the decision. She told him to stop chasing political connections and instead put his faith in God, reminding him that not every battle needs to be fought in court. The plea deal was bittersweet. 2 years in prison and 3 years of supervised release way less than the 15-year max he was staring down. Prosecutors even waived fines, knowing his financial situation. This was the same man who once rejected a 15-year plea on a murder charge, now realizing the strength in a strategic surrender. But it wasn't just a legal fight keeping Boosie's name hot. His feud with internet instigator Charleston White kept boiling over. White mocked Boosie's diabetes, predicted his death in prison, and even wrote a letter to the judge begging for the maximum sentence. Any other street figure might have handled it with violence, but Boosie kept his cool, knowing one wrong move could cost him everything. He killed 9 black people before he was even 16. That kid saw death as a baby and remembered the murder. That boy struggled with mental illness. And Boosie? Boosie out here acting tough. White ran it online. The beef wasn't just personal. It was a reminder of how quickly the world turns on you. Then came the long list of controversies with the LGBTQ plus community, moments that kept Boosie in the crosshairs of critics. Back in 2020, he lashed out at Dwayne Wade's transgender daughter, Zaya. By 2021, he was taking aim at Lil Nas X. In 2024, he even stormed out of the Color Purple remake. Every time it sparked headlines, and every time it cost him real money. In March 2025, Planet Fitness banned him from all their gyms over comments he made. Corporate-level backlash that hit hard. But nothing cut deeper than the situation at home. In 2023, his own daughter, Poison Ivy, came out as a lesbian. Instead of embracing her, Boosie publicly said her sexuality wasn't accepted in their Southern Baptist household. That decision left real damage, not on his reputation, but inside his own family. And yet, through every controversy, court date, and viral moment, Boosie's fan base never folded. His 2025 album Words of a Real One resonated deep, proving that his voice still hits home, even with prison time looming. Now, as sentencing day, November 21st, 2025, approaches, the stakes are sky high. His attorney, Megan Blanco, is asking for leniency, pointing to his charity work and role as a father of 9. Prosecutors, though, are pushing for the full 2 years. But one thing history makes clear, prison doesn't stop Boosie. Back in 2014, he walked out of Angola and dropped Touchdown 2 Cause Hell, debuting at number 3 on Billboard. The system couldn't kill his grind then, and it probably won't now. Whatever Judge Ben Savino decides on November 21st, one thing's guaranteed. Boosie Badass is the definition of resilience. From the Baton Rouge trenches to the San Diego courtrooms, he never folded. The streets built him. The system tried to break him, but he's still standing. This story ain't just about a gun case. It's about a man who turned trauma into art, pain into purpose, and never forgot where he came from, even when it cost him everything. So if you felt this story, hit that like, share it, drop a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one.